People are incredibly important to Viva Energy. We have this wonderful culture that we call driven by people. It's more than just 3 words, we actually genuinely put meaning around that. What we mean by it is that in our industry, what we do is actually not a whole lot different than what our competitors do. We have a refinery, we have a set of retail service stations, we have a supply chain and terminal network around the country, and we obviously ultimately selling fuel and lubricants to various different customers around Australia. What differentiates us from our competitors is ultimately the people that work here, the people that deal with our customers, that operate our various facilities and operations and drive the strategies, and that's what makes us different. As CEO of Viva Energy, one of the challenges I face is obviously the geography of our operations. We operate in more than 20 locations around the country, some quite small teams, some very large teams, and within some of our larger operations, like Geelong Refinery, a lot of, it's a large complex with a lot of different teams working shifts, and the challenge in that sort of environment is really being able to communicate effectively to everybody in the organisation. And as I said, I can't do it on my own. I need my leadership team to be playing their role and also communicating in a consistent way, but also in their own style as well.
So we realised pretty early on in our Viva Energy journey that to create that type of culture, we would need to have great leaders, and we would need to have a bit of a unique leadership style as well to bring that culture to life. So we didn't know exactly what that leadership looked like, so we started to talk to different companies around what they had done. We talked to a lot of different providers, probably about 20. And when we talked to Melbourne Business School, the conversation was quite different to some of those other conversations. So the conversation with Melbourne Business School was much more about what is the business strategy, what do you want to achieve as a business, where have you come from, where are you going, what are some of your current challenges. So it was a very holistic view of leadership development. It was a very collaborative conversation and a deep conversation as well.
We started off with the senior leadership group, which is kind of our top 30 people essentially in the company, and I was obviously part of that group, and since then we've broadened it out to the next levels down, and I think all up we've had probably nearly 200 people through the program. I think it's terrific going on the same program as your team. I think it obviously demonstrates to the team that it's important to me, and it's important that, and I'm part of the leadership development program. I'm recognising that I also have a role to play in improving and building on my leadership capability as much as I'm obviously encouraging them to do the same things.
So overall, the feedback on the program has been fantastic, and as I mentioned, it's got better and better as we've continued to evolve the program by taking feedback and changing it. Some of the comments that I've heard directly from our people are things like, it's one of the best leadership programs I've ever been on. It will definitely make me a better leader. Now I know what I need to do. Now I know what I have perhaps not been doing as well before. So the feedback has been, really, from the participants, has been really, really great.
It creates a common language across the company, which is one of the great things by having some consistency in the program, so that when we're talking about things like the leadership circle, and you often hear people talking about trying to work in the top of the circle, which is trying to have a bit more of a growth mindset. It's great to hear that sort of language because it creates that consistency. It means you get comfort that we're working towards the same sort of values and outcomes together, and it gives you confidence then that we'll really deliver success and get the return from the investment that we're making into the future as well.
MBS was one of the only providers that we talked about that was really interested in measuring the impact of the work that we were doing on leadership development, so that was a big tick for us. The outcomes have really been around helping us to build that driven by people culture with better leaders. So we measure engagement like many companies, and that has been increasing year on year, and that's very much as a result of leaders driving that engagement. So it hasn't been through initiatives or programs, it's been through changes in leadership behaviour. Our business results have been going very well, and that's through the leaders delivering that with their teams and with the people. and we have now leaders that have the capability, that can continue to grow the organisation, look for the new opportunities, look for the change and the innovation that we will need to go forward.